Morning, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Common Ground. I'm Chris. That's Josh. I think everybody that's been watching knows who we are and what we're doing here. But we're going to get right into it. The Durham report. Um, Divisive topic, but let me just lead into how we got there. I went out and got a new phone, and I was offline for a little bit with news and stuff till I got the phone going, and the passwords and usernames and the fucking Wi-Fi numbers and all the bullshit. Thank God for the 17-year-old kid that was helping me get all this straightened out. Anyway, all that to say, wound up turning the phone on. The phone's blowing up with the Durham reports out after 6 something years. And I think we should have a celebration. Josh, pick a color, man. Red, green, blue.
I let's go with red, Chris. Let's see what you got up
Well,
your sleeve there. Let's
I want
let's
you to participate in
surprise
my
me there.
victory lap. Yet again, the Republicans shine through. Uh,
Oh boy.
we win, we win. Okay, enough of the party. Let's get down to business, folks. We got our time's valuable. We know yours is as well. Josh, kick us off here with the Durham report.
And that's what it feels like. Republicans have been taking a victory lap this past
Yes,
week.
we
That's all
are.
I've been seeing. The Durham report has unraveled everything. This was the report that the Republicans have been waiting on. I don't see it
I
that way,
forgot about it
surprisingly.
actually. It's
And
been so freaking long.
yeah, man. I honestly I thought that he had came out with the report already. And yeah, I was wrong. So the report dropped, and I was expecting some bombshell revelations, some new things there. Personally, I
And
didn't see it that much, and
there was
I know,
bombshell stuff in there.
yeah, yeah,
You
and
just
and I
don't
know
want to
you guys
admit. You
are running
Democrats
away
just
with
don't
it.
want to admit it.
Yeah, man. It's I mean, there were things in there that did surprise me, and but other things again. And if you've been following along with this, I mean, I know the major thing that was in there, um, the Steele dossier, uh, the Steele dossier, and if you've been following it, like I said, for the past few years, you should know that most of that Steele dossier has been disproven. It's been, there is no P tape. There is no any of the bombshell things that were written in that report. And it's come out since then. It's between leaks and news stories and things dropping. We know that Hillary Clinton and her campaign financed the report, and they were the ones that paid for it. They were trying to get dirt on Trump, which by the way is legal. This is the political system that we're in. This is the one that we're kind of stuck with at this point, where you are allowed to pay millions of dollars to a firm to do opposition research on your opponent. Um, that's where we are. So it was completely legal. However, it was bullshit. I will give you that. There is no, there was no major thing.
Yeah, the only thing I want to
So yeah,
say about
what do you think? I don't want to get off into this film because I know I got my own feelings on
yeah,
the Steele dossier and
there,
everything. What do you think?
there's a lot of stuff with this Durham report, and you can go back in the weeds to the Mueller report. I mean, everybody remember this too. We paid for all this shit for the last 6 years, 12 million plus dollars. We paid for it with our tax
Oh yeah.
dollars. Let me say the dossier. Yeah, completely agree. It was a bunch of bullshit started by Hillary Clinton. We all know that. It's a fact. It's proven. And I'm of the belief that it led into a lot of these investigations because she did lie and drug the Justice Department into our election. And let me say this: I think the real election uh, fraud here wasn't the ballot or the machines. I truly think the election interference came from our own government. Um, FBI was in on it; they knew about it, and they acted on a lie. And I got a problem with that.
Now, that's where people get or conflate this issue is that the Steele dossier was the only reason why this investigation was started into the Trump campaign. And I'd like to remind you, and don't take my word for it, please. Go do your own research. Go, hey, is Josh bullshit? Is Josh, not telling the truth? Please go check on yourself. The actual reason why the investigation started was because an Australian diplomat ratted out George Papadopoulos. George Papadopoulos was bragging to him about how the Trump campaign or how Russia had dirt on the Hillary Clinton campaign. So he didn't say Trump. It wasn't a Trump campaign. It was the Russians. And somehow they had information that the Russians knew stuff about Hillary. So when this Australian diplomat came back and he told I believe it was the FBI about this, that's when the investigation started. So that's where people conflated. Said they think, oh, the Steele dossier came out and that made the FBI start this invest. No, now what I will admit is that the FBI used the Steele dossier as part of their applications to get search warrants to wiretap and to further investigate. So
Yeah, but
that's
the whole
where
thing,
people are up in arms. Oh,
but the whole
we
thing was a fraud and it was a lie. And here we are today.
the Steele dossier, but George Papadopoulos and
Well,
the
yeah,
Australian diplomat,
Papadopoulos
not a
was
lie.
tried, convicted, and guilty of uh, trying to set up meetings with the Russians. I don't know if he did or not set them up, but he was tried on that, and he was also tried for false statements to the FBI. That is a fact. Um,
Yes,
I
yes.
don't know.
So it wasn't the only thing. That's the only thing I want to remind people is that yes, the Steele dossier was a part of it, but it wasn't the only
Yeah,
thing. And I just like to. So if I commit a crime, if I go rob somebody's house, and you have a few pieces of evidence against me, one of those being that one of my buddies said, "Hey, Josh said he's been thinking about robbing a few houses." That turns out to be bullshit, but you still have a ton of other evidence against me. That little piece isn't really going to matter much in the case. You still know that I robbed the house. You still have other evidence there that I committed a
yeah.
crime. So it's
It,
kind of the same
it
concept. As
it's important.
it,
It's important to
yeah,
note that the Durham report is like 300 plus pages, and I
yeah,
breezed through it. I kind of go by what the news is telling me, and then I try to verify. You can verify what the news is telling you. Just go read the report. It's on
yeah.
justice.com, justice.gov, I believe. The whole report
.gov.
is there.
Mm-hmm.
I'm still trying to finish To Kill a
Yep.
Mockingbird for my senior year of high school. I'm 48 years old, so for me to read the entire report,
Yeah.
and most people aren't going to, which brings us to the media. They're going to tell us, they're going to pick and cherry pick what they want to take out of that report, and the Mueller report for that matter too. So you got to keep that in perspective. Go look at it. If CNN said it or Fox said it, and it's actually in the report, you may have to look for it and scroll through it. It's 300 pages. But if you really want the truth, that's the only truth you're going to be afforded is what the actual document itself says. The actual document,
Yeah.
here's the disagreement. There was no collusion. There was Russian interference. That's nothing new. The Russians and Chinese have been interfering in our elections for years. I'm of the opinion there was no collusion. The reports both say that, with the understanding that there are probably 40 or 50 different points in each of those reports that are relevant to the big picture. And the ones we're talking about here at the moment, two or three different of the 50, 60, however many points there are in those reports, we're going to have disagreements on. And they are the facts. They are what the report said.
Yeah. And to Chris's point that the report is 350 pages, I believe. Most of the talking heads that you'll hear on TV talking about this, I would gamble on about 99% of those people did not read the full report front to back. Same thing with the Mueller report. It's close to like 1,000 pages. The people talking to you about it did not read the whole report. They did not. However, they are, it's a document, it's a PDF document. You can go through and you can search keywords or things like that to kind of make it more digestible for you. But the other point that I just want to refute that Chris says, and it's a major talking point, and we'll get back to it over and over, and you'll just keep hearing it: collusion, collusion, collusion. I,
Yeah, there
really
was none.
simple, just real quick. The
There was none.
definition
I
of
printed the
collusion.
reports out.
Oh, that's not what the reports say. But
Here's
let me
what
go
they
through this real
said.
quick. The definition, and if you guys go, get a dictionary. If you guys are able to find a different definition, please let me know. Please, give me that insight. However, the dictionary, Oxford Dictionary, says collusion is the secret or illegal cooperation or conspiracy, especially in order to cheat or deceive others. So that's the definition of collusion. So we go back there, and I know that's a big thing. No collusion. And I remind you, collusion is working with another. The secret working there. So
Kind of
um,
like
that
the
we
Democrats and the FBI were working. Not the Democrats, but the FBI was working with Dachenko. He was part of the Durham report. I mean, we paid him
yeah.
$250,000. I mean, he was a Russian. I mean, he was a citizen of America, if I ain't mistaken. But I mean, is that
Yep,
collusion?
yep, yep. And I remind you that he was acquitted in trial by a jury of his peers. He was found not guilty. He went through trial. Actually, Durham tried prosecuting him himself, and Durham lost that case. Durham also lost another case, and he was only able to secure one plea agreement, which was a
And
low-level
that's fine.
FBI lawyer.
That's fine. The acquittal or the
But
trials
he was
came.
found not guilty in court. So in this country, if you're found not guilty, that that's
What
that's it.
you know as well
There's
as I do. I think well. You don't know. You know my opinion on the justice system. I think it's off the cliff. That's my opinion. He was tried, um, but he was part of the lie. I mean, if we're going to use the word collusion, there was none in terms of Trump per se. Um, and the report.
So, again, back to that point. The secret or illegal cooperation or conspiracy, and especially in order to cheat or deceive others. I'd just like to remind you guys that there were six convictions coming from the Mueller report, including that there were contacts with Russian government officials, and their representatives as well. So everything from the Trump Tower. So if you're saying there's no collusion, if you're saying that there's no secret or illegal cooperation, then somebody out there, I mean, you guys can comment or let me know what was the Trump Tower meeting about? And if that wasn't a secret or illegal cooperation or conspiracy, then what was
All
it?
right.
If it wasn't about
Yeah, well, I mean, we have our
the
opinion about that. I mean, there's, but again, let me preface by saying,
but collusion isn't a crime, so that's the other thing I'd like to remind you guys. It's easy to use collusion because collusion isn't in the code of law in this country. There is no you broke a crime and it's collusion. No, it would be conspiracy to defraud the United States. It would be conspiracy. It would be making false statements when they do ask you about this collusion, which is what most of these people were convicted of. There were six people from the Trump campaign that were convicted, not just
yeah, but they
charged,
were,
convicted of these
some of them
crimes.
were convicted for different reasons, like tax evasion. That I think
Yep, that's true.
Manafort was.
They lied to the FBI, and they found other crimes. If the FBI is talking to you and hey, you admit them, or they find something in their investigation, that's fair game. That's part of the thing. So not all of them were found guilty of cooperating with Russians, but there were a few that were found guilty of lying to the FBI,
Kind of like Hillary
trying to
Clinton
get
did when she came up with her plan to
Hillary did
derail
not lie
Trump.
to the FBI, by the way.
Huh?
No, Hillary did not lie to the FBI. And if she did, where's the charges? Because Trump was in charge for 4 years after
Of
Hillary
course she
made her
lied
statement.
because it was brought to the attention in the Oval Office. And again, let me say, I wasn't there. I don't know. We're getting what the media wants us to hear. I'd like to know how many of the media were actually in the Oval Office when supposedly John Brennan, director of CIA in 2016, was there. James Comey was there. Then President Obama, Vice President Biden. Um, that's what we're being told. I'm going with that as a fact.
But we can't skim over this though. What did Hillary lie about? Because you're saying she lied.
She
That's a crime.
created
If you're lying to the FBI, that's a
her
crime.
her her and her Democratic National Convention created the Steele dossier. And I don't want to go back into the Steele dossier. I'm just saying,
But we know this. So what I'm saying is, where was the lie though? She didn't say that she didn't. So when did she lie to the FBI? Is what I'm curious about.
well, they acted on that information knowing that there was zero interest from the intelligence community in our country, FBI, CIA. They knew there was nothing there. so we're being told, comes from this meeting in the Oval Office when Brennan was briefing. And he, by the way, he was also briefing President Obama at the time on actual Russian interference, which they do. That they do that, but you can't conflate that with what's happening here with the Durham report. China does it too, probably other
No,
countries.
exactly. And
But the fact is,
but I mean,
they
so
acted, which part of this Durham report, another level of this is the big picture is the FBI acted and didn't want to open an investigation until the dossier came up. And, you know, they don't
no, no,
belong
no.
in
See,
that. They don't belong. And the ultimate corruption to
but
me is the, it does sway an election, I believe. The lies. And I don't care who's lying. I don't care if it's Trump or Clinton or Biden. We got a problem with the fucking lies in this country. And what we can actually prove, you and I, with our own eyes. There's a huge problem here.
right. But we have to go, again, this is not the reason that the Trump campaign was investigated. It's not. Look back through the documents. And again, don't take my word for it. Don't take Chris's word for it. You guys do your own research. Please look at why the FBI started the whole collusion with the Trump campaign story or that whole investigation. And it was George Papadopoulos. He messed up. He was bragging to an Australian diplomat. They brought that back to the United States, and which sparked the investigation. Now, that the Steele dossier, that Hillary Clinton paid for it, and they also used that because it happened to have Russian contacts and stories about people from the Trump campaign having contact with Russians. They used that as well. However, just to remind you again, that is not the reason. Again, look through the Durham report, look through the Mueller
Yeah,
report, look through the Senate, the Republican-led Senate Intelligence Committee that came out right after the Mueller report, which verified everything that was in the Mueller. And again, I remind you guys, this was Republican-led
yeah, no,
during Trump's administration.
you do make a point that it was Republican led. I'm saying, for me, for my opinion, is I trust about as many of them as I do the Democrats anymore. I,
But we get to opinions though,
and
and
that is my opinion.
opinions are like assholes. Everybody has one, Everybody has an opinion. I have an opinion on a thing. It doesn't mean that I'm correct,
So,
So we have to base it on facts. The fact is that the Steele dossier was not the only reason
yeah, we
why
agree. We
the
agree. We agree on that. It's the biggest reason that the media is going to talk about, and which is how we
it's
ended up talking
it's
about
the
it
thing
too.
that makes headlines. That I will give you.
And it
Yeah.
is not the only reason. I completely agree with that. Um, there's a lot of reasons, and I think my final statement is there's a problem here. We have a problem, whether it's Trump. I am watching closely the Biden corruption with the bank statements and things like that. That's another topic for another day. But I don't care which side of the fence you're on. There's a problem in this country that we're not getting shit done to benefit you and I, but we have time to spend millions and millions of dollars and years of time. And I'm of the opinion that our media and our government need to keep us divided because it's the easiest way to keep 380 plus million people at bay. Get 125 million over here, 125 million over there. And if we ever came together as a group, we would be a force to be reckoned with as Americans. I truly believe that. They can't have that. They are toxic and they're swamp
That's
people.
for sure.
That's the big picture to
Yeah.
me with the Durham report and dossier, the Trump Tower meeting, all this shit. There's real shit to do in this country besides the corrupt politicians that live on both sides. Period. End of issue. My fucking head's going to explode. And we're paying for it.
Yep. That I mean that I kind of agreeing with you on is that this is being perpetrated by the media. They do have an ulterior motive in this. They do they benefit from me and you being divided. They benefit by me and you arguing about the Steele dossier or arguing about who's lying or who's telling the truth. When in reality we're basing all our information off them. So it's a perpetual
And
feedback loop.
we in
You
reality, if I say to you I'm holding a coffee cup, That's true. You can see it with your own eyes. If I put that down and say, Josh, I have a coffee cup over here, uh, prove it. It's that simple to me. I can't see it. I can't hear it with my own ears. What's really true? How about this? And
Yeah.
here's my solution, and I'm curious to hear yours. Get these people out of here. Clean up this corruption, however that looks, on both sides, and get people in there that are farmers and doctors and nurses and truck drivers and dispatchers and warehouse workers. Let we, the people, run this country because we know how to do it. And I don't know anybody in my little world of peasantry down here that are corrupt. I really don't, but I know shit tons
Yeah.
of them that reside in our government swamp and our 24
Yeah.
hour news cycle.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I have to agree with that. It is, the people that we have up there, and it's part term limits, all that stuff that comes into play. But it, we need to get a new breed of people in there. We have to get this most of these people out. They've been there for years. They take advantage of the system. They've been in so long that it's almost impossible to get them out of office now.
And we
We
need to
should have
fix
term
that.
limits for all these
We
people.
need to fix that, us.
Yeah, yeah,
I mean, people have
yep,
to wake
yeah.
up.
It starts with term limits. I promise you, term limits will reduce. And I don't care. Let them 10 years, whatever. 6 years, whatever. That we agree upon. But there has to be a term limit. You can't have a member of Congress in there for 35
You know,
years.
for anybody
It,
that
it
doesn't
doesn't do you any
for
good.
anybody that doesn't know, that's how the country started. The politicians were woodworkers and coffin makers and bankers, and they went and did their job. And when there was government business to take care of, they came to wherever Congress was at the day, and they did their business, and they went back to work. They farmed and did
It was
mining
literally a part-time job for them.
and can
Yeah,
we do
yeah. It
that
was a
today?
part-time. You did your normal job.
We
Yeah,
can't necessarily do that to that degree today. However, we got to do something different because this country is going off the rails. And you can blame everybody you
yeah.
want to blame. Um, that's fine. But if we don't have these conversations, folks, this country is not going to get better. And it is a sick country right now, and it needs our help.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That I can agree with on Chris. I think we can both find common ground on that, which is very rare, especially on this controversial subject. We thought, we'd be going at each other back and forth there. But yeah, man, it's a vital problem in this country. It's a problem that I think all America, and it's something that most of us can agree with. Most of us don't want to see a senator in there for 35, 40 years.
On either side,
That's a
folks.
career at
And
that
that's
point.
coming from a
Yeah,
Democrat.
yeah, yeah. I'm not talking about Republicans or Democrats.
Yeah.
No, I'm both sides. It's not helping me or you. And even if you love the politician, that's not helping you. It's not going to get you what you need
You
as an
need
American
people in
citizen.
there
So
that are
I
with the
strongly
times.
believe in
You've
term
got
limits.
people in there that don't even know how to operate an iPhone, because they're that older. They're being
Yeah,
wheeled in the corridors of the Capitol on a wheelchair. Come on, folks. There's something wrong here.
looking at you, Miss
Diane
Feinstein, there
Feinstein
from California.
and
Um,
old Mitch
yeah,
McConnell, and he fell down the steps or something. I hope you guys are all well. I
yeah,
don't wish harm on Diane Feinstein or Mitch McConnell. But listen, fucking tired,
no,
people. Okay, go fishing and go
yeah.
play with
Go
your great
live your lives.
grandkids.
Go out to pasture.
Yeah, go away.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Who in their right mind
Yeah.
wants to? I'm 48 years old. I can't wait to retire. What what
I'm 37. I'm counting down the
in
days, man.
what world do you want to be wheeled through the Capitol building in a wheelchair or fall down the steps? I mean,
Yeah,
come on,
yep.
people. So,
That is the common ground right
so,
there. So,
so there you go. The Durham
yeah,
report, in a bigger sense, I think it's just going to continue to divide the country. I mean, the facts are there. We agree on some we don't. But in the end, I think it's all smoke and mirrors, and they're behind the curtain pulling the fucking levers again. Can we fix shit like inflation and the border? How about we do that?
yes, yes. 100% agree, man. There are bigger, much bigger, more trying issues out there right now, and yeah, yeah. I believe we should all
And it's
hands on
all in
deck
the
for those
past.
issues.
We
So
can't.
the economy is huge.
I like having the information. We should know it, but the shit's all in the past now. We can't go back to 2016 and undo any of this stuff. Let's get our heads out of our
Yep.
asses and get shit done in this country. It's not hard. Anyway,
Yep.
before I get off into fucking tangent, now I feel my blood vessels starting to swell up. I got to get out here and get some shit done. I got chores to do today, so um, that's all I got to say.
Yep.
I
Yep.
will see everybody next week. Josh, we'll see you on Sunday at work. Everybody like, subscribe, share. Tell everybody you know we're growing and we're going to keep growing and we're going to keep coming back whether you like it or not. Help us fight the YouTube algorithms. Like, subscribe, share,
Yes.
comment, and all
Yes.
that other stuff. And I'm going to go
Help
back
us
to that
out. We're the only
report.
channel trying to help out America here. So
One last
yeah.
thing.
Let Chris celebrate here with the Durham report. One
One
more.
last thing. No
All right.
collusion. All right, Josh, I got to go, brother.
Have a
All
good
right,
night,
see
guys.
everybody next week.